Real estate, job losses. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, I'm Florian.Heise and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I have my morning stein of coffee, which frankly I'm just using to warm myself up at the moment. It's a beautiful 10 degrees here in Brisbane right now. It's a nice, crisp and cold day. That's why you need the hot coffees to warm up. And I thought we'd have a look at this article from last year discussing, losses in the real estate industry. Now, in 2019, the real estate industry took a hit. It took a hit. And I think this is important to have a look at because can we see it happening again? Markets are, we're seeing mixed messages, aren't we? Markets seem to be doing really well according to certain cherry-picked results for properties 2 or 3 times above the median. They're going above reserve. But then there's very low auction numbers. The clearance rates are 60%. Then we, adjust them for reality, take off 5%. But it's based on 200 auctions. So this industry, real estate, is going to take a hit. And I know a lot of people like bagging on real estate agents. And I'm the same. I've got, friends who are agents, and I'll tease them very much. But that's more so the Australian way. But still, we'll have to keep an eye on this sector to see what's going to happen. I know every time there's a recession, I was told when I was sitting with the old architects at the practice committee, every time there was a recession, there'd be thousands of people would leave the profession, or thousands of people would probably leave the institute, so you don't have to pay the fees. But nevertheless, how will this industry take a hit moving forward? How many job losses will occur in real estate? Remember, property is a big part of Australia. It's a big part of Australia. So let's have a look. Real Estate Institute of Australia President Adrian Kelly has played down reports of record job losses in the sector, saying there will always be opportunity for good agents to do well within the industry. And he's right there. There will be opportunities for good agents. But for the average ones, it's going to be tough. And a lot of real estate agents don't make that good money, to be honest. You've got, the Pareto principle. You've got the ones that are doing really well, do really, really well. And you've got the other ones who are doing distinctly average. So quality, not quantity, is shaping real estate employment in the current climate, according to the Real Estate Institute of Australia President Adrian Kelly. In a week where hybrid real estate agency Purple Bricks announced its exit from Australia, News Corp reported that more than 15,000 agents left the industry since the market peak in 2017. So that's a big number of agencies. And we actually dealt with Purple Bricks, actually. I experienced them when we were buying my mother's little townhouse. And I didn't mind their model at all, actually. It was quite unique. I saw how they tried to save money by having an online system and having everything up front. It was, they were better than the little suburban agency we dealt with selling my mother's house. One thing that it really frustrated me, they went and would make hand amendments to contracts that were already signed to include additional things the buyer asked for. Then they were asking us to release the funds for them early, because it was a bit of a rigmarole, because the buyer was coming from New South Wales and she had a few issues getting, approval and jumping through hoops. So they were asking for extensions, and I was doing all the conveyancing myself, and they were going off at me, going, if you had a lawyer there, it'd happen faster, yada yada yada. And I go, yes, but I would rather have the goodwill of giving them a couple of weeks, because it'll give me more time to chop down the trees that they've asked me. So there I am, because you don't pay someone to do that. You get on the roof with a branch saw, or do this or do that. And they were getting antsy. They wanted us to release those funds before it would and before it was actually all settled, because you don't want to do that. Because if it could still fall through, you still want to hold on to that. If you give it to the agent, they'll just spend it and go away. So that was my experience between the two models. So in some regards, I had a better experience with Purple Brick than a more traditional agency. So there's a wealth of variety of characters in the game. My housing market chief economist Andrew Wilson told The Australian The losses were part of an unprecedented shakedown in employment within the industry. Speaking in response to the figures, Mr. Kelly told Williams Media the trend was not surprising in the current climate. This kind of thing has happened before, he said. So will the reason I'm going through this, will we see it again? Will it happen again now? Will real estate take a hit? What tends to happen when the real estate market is extremely strong and is well publicized is more people decide to sell real estate because it's not a difficult industry to get into depending on what state you're in. Well, yeah, it it isn't. It isn't. The course that you have to do isn't that, well, it isn't that long compared to the years and years of to be an architect. Well, I had to do a 3-year bachelor's, then another 3-year bachelor's. Now they've upgraded it to a master's just to charge more, to be honest. Then you have to do 2 years of postgraduate work, sit an interview, registration exam, then do yearly CPD. Where I had a mate of mine, a Sparky, who likes property, and he did the real estate course just after hours. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. You know, let me know if you're a real estate agent as well. When the sales start to dry up a bit and you have to work much harder to achieve a sale, people start exiting. What it means to be a real estate agent was brought into focus last week with the news that Purple Bricks would be leaving the Australian market. The hybrid agency had previously faced criticism for its low-cost model, which many believed was destined to fail. Mr. Kelly said while the business was always going to be a tough sell in Australia, he sympathised with the employees affected by the closure. I'm sure those salespeople who are good at what they do will have no trouble, he said. Mr. Kelly said, if anything, now is a good time to be entering the industry. I've always found that salespeople are better off joining the industry when the market conditions are a little bit flat, he said. That's when they really learn how to provide good service and give feedback to the vendors. He's got a point there. He's got a point there. During tough times, it may be the time to get in. And there are going to be a lot of people, because we're entering a recession, that are going to lose their jobs. Unemployment's going to go up. And the older you get, guys, the harder it is, if you've been an employee, to get back into an industry. I know it's unfair, but it's just reality, everyone. So you got to deal with it. So there'll be some people who are 40 plus, 45 plus going, I'm not going to get back into that game. I might have a look at real estate. I might have a look at this or this. And it will be bloody hard. It certainly will be bloody hard. If what happened in 2019 is going to repeat it now, and I'd be shocked if it doesn't. The real estate industry, well, here's the thing. If we have a surge of people needing to sell, there may be a great number of work for agents, but it depends on how many buyers there are going in. Nonetheless, it's not going to be the everyone's a genius market where everything's constantly going up. So, maybe this will be an opportunity for people to get in. It's not that expensive to retrain to be an agent. And if you like selling and dealing with people, but it's not going to be easy. When the market is flying, all you have to do is run a 3-week auction campaign, which is not the true experience of being a real estate agent. Agents these days probably have a much better long-term prospect in the industry. So a shift in types of roles available. Real estate recruiter Shannon Benny told Williams Media, housing downturn's impact on recruitment could be seen in the roles that were available. I've seen fewer roles in middle to upper management as business owners and principals step into being more hands-on in their own businesses and save the cost of salaries at that level, she said. Well, yeah, that's what you're going to see at a recession. All the people that just, aren't really adding to the bottom line with profits, that are just taking away, you'll trim the fat. You'll do it. You'll have to take on more work yourself. I had mates who did the same thing. They ditched some project managers in their business and just worked extra hours. We did the same thing. When we scaled back our business, we changed our whole model where, rather than having staff, we do the work that we can handle ourselves, so I don't have that extra cost added on. And, if I need extra capacity, I'll either, bring someone on as a contractor, or more likely, I just won't sleep. I'll just work bloody late. I've got my routine going now. I do my YouTube videos in the morning, and then I'll work all day. And if I have to, I'll just push into the night. I mean, that's part of my profession and the just the studio culture at the university that carries through. Probably isn't the best thing, but when you work at home, you still see the kids, you get, pretty good work-life balance. I can't complain at all there. But being an agent, you've got to be on the road a lot. So there's been a visible departure of people out of sales roles, but as Mr. Kelly stated, that is no surprise given low stock levels and reduced earning potential. Miss Benny said roles within project or off-the-plan sales had also been greatly affected. The downturn of the market coincided with changes to visa laws around skilled migration, real estate coming off the list, she said. See, this is the thing. It should never have been on the list, I'd argue. The cost of becoming a real estate agent is not prohibitively expensive. You could probably get the whole course fees for $5,000, everyone. That's very different to an engineering qualification, or architecture even, or even someone with significant finance or business training. Why was it on the list? Why was it on the list? Well, we know why it was on the list, because they want to get people migrating over to Australia, because it props up the property market. It's a perpetual cycle, because we're innovative. This has been compounded with foreign investment costs, meaning there is not only less staff being recruited in, but there have been far fewer offshore Mandarin-speaking staff being recruited due to declining need to cater to offshore buyers. Oh, well, there you go. Well, that all ties back to this little chart here, just showing the significant amount of foreign investment that happened in Australia. So here we have it, a piece from a year ago, mind you, with a big shift in the number of agents employed in real estate. Are we going to see a repeat of this? Is the real estate industry going to take a hit? If we look at if we ignore the number or the percentage of auction clearance rates, just the solid number of auctions, there's definitely less activity happening, significantly less. Building approvals, sure, they've gone up slightly, but if you go back to the decline in multi-res approvals here in Queensland has been significant, and there's a lot of stock on the market. Off the plan will take a hit. What do you think, everyone? Do you think the industry will repeat? Will we see another exodus of people from real estate in 2020? Is it starting now? Or will we see it in September to February? Please, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and would like to support the content I create, there are a few ways you can. Simply interacting with the channel, commenting, and liking helps beat the YouTube algorithm. It helps YouTube suggest the content. You can support us financially by joining the channel on YouTube or Patreon, or via the affiliate links we use at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, support us using Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or via PayPal. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.